Oh,
Hi,
there you are. I'm glad you made it.
I'm Millie Radley, and I'm so excited to bring you Hunting the Fairy Tale by Maggie O'Reilly. Get comfortable, settle in, and let's dive into this story together.
After a series of traumatic events leaves them destitute, Rebecca Mayfair and her 17-year-old daughter find refuge in her best friend's home in Briar Cove. When Willow meets the quirky, colorful kids at her new school, she suddenly finds herself at the center of chaos, in complete contrast to her rather strict upbringing. She soon learns that not all knights wear shining armor. In fact, some of them are downright dirty. In the wise words of young Briar Covian Paisley Davenport, "So, you take a bunch of misfits and stick them in a tribe. Then you add some glitter and voila! You've got yourself a fairy tale. Just, minus the fairies." This is a story about love, friendship, family, and healing. P.S. This is not a fairy tale.
Chapter 1. Willow Mayfair.
So, women actually do this kind of thing in real life. Crossing my arms, I settle in to watch the spectacle unfolding before me, and it is quite the spectacle indeed. My mother, the usually quiet, emotionally stinted Rebecca Mayfair, is holding hands with a short, busty woman I assume to be Elizabeth Drake. They are jumping around in circles like a pair of little children. This strange tribal dance consisting of giggling, crying, hugging, and shrieking has been going on for quite a few minutes now. Where on earth am I? Our cars hadn't even stopped completely when Aunt Beth came screaming down the patio steps and all but yanked my mother from the still stuttering vehicle right into her embrace. I always thought scenes like this were only found in girly movies. I can't remember having had the urge to do what they're doing now. Ever. And my mother? Actually, my mother rarely laughs. Hearing her squeal like a little girl is rather wonderful. Seeing her show any kind of emotion is refreshing. She'd slowly been coming alive since we embarked on our road trip to Briar Cove, the stress lines in her face softening with each kilometer we traveled. Seeing her gradually transform into a different person is fascinating. I was really nervous when I opened the gate to the Drake's property for my mother to park our dilapidated old car in the canopied area to the left of the double garages. She assured me it would be perfectly fine, that Aunt Beth had told her to drive right in and park there. To be honest, I had my doubts. Despite my mother's many promises, I didn't feel certain of our welcome at all. Then suddenly, this bubbly blonde woman came bursting from the house like a little yellow hurricane, and my doubts began to fade.
And here we are, 5 minutes later, starring in a female coming-of-age movie.
Aunt Beth and my mother's abundant joy finally pops the bubble of anxiety I've been trapped in for months now. Watching these two excited women, my eyes are suddenly burning with silly tears of relief. I slowly become aware of the alarm that's been going off at my feet for practically the entire duration of the reunion between my mother and her best friend. Jealous of the shrieks and squeals threatening to put his abilities to shame, little Piddle is doing his best to pierce our eardrums. Wincing, I pick the dog up and hug him to my chest. Usually, doing so calms his hysterics, but not this time. I adore the fluffy little mongrel, but honestly, his shrill barks can make even the dead cringe in pain. He'd been trapped in the car with us for over 2 days. He deserved a big dose of freedom. We all do. But oh my word, it hurts. Shh! Be quiet. They're doing a splendid job all by themselves, I hiss into his ear. My mother and Aunt Beth stopped the reunification ritual and turned all their attention to me. It's not what I'd meant to achieve at all. I cannot remember the last time my mother smiled at me quite like this. It warms my heart, and I smile back. Each shared smile seems to shrink the vast distance between us by 1 millimeter at a time.
I'm glad.
Aunt Bess suddenly lets my mother go to wrap me in a cloud of rose and lilac, ignoring the protests of the squirming dog caught in our embrace.
What on earth is happening now?
I am not used to such an open display of affection. I try to soften the stiffness seizing my body because the last thing I want to do is offend my mother's best friend. After a few seconds of being certain of complete failure, I suddenly feel my rigid body relax into the hug. My goodness, this is even stranger and quite pleasant. I return Aunt Beth's hug almost naturally. Apparently, I rather like being hugged.
Who would have thought? Oh, Willow, you were such an itty-bitty little thing when you were born, she says, holding me close. We were terrified that something as small and pretty as you wouldn't be able to survive in this world. But just look at you. You've grown up so beautifully.
Aunt Beth steps back, her hands lingering on my upper arms while her green eyes lovingly study my face as if she cannot look at me enough. I've been exposed to a sufficient amount of fake affection in my life to recognize sincerity when I see it. It is making my heart flutter in rather startling ways. I am terrified that a wall might break inside me, releasing years' worth of unshed tears and drowning the small woman.
Last time I saw you in person, you were such a cute little girl. Now, you're a young woman, and even more gorgeous than in the pictures Becca sent me over the years.
She pulls me into another hug, and now I'm battling not to bawl my eyes out like a toddler.
I haven't felt this welcome in too many years. I can't believe that you're actually here.
Her eyes are bright with tears of joy by the time she finally lets go. She shakes her head with a giggle and spins around, stepping between my mother and me. Flinging an arm around each of our waists, she guides us up the steps to the patio. I stop at the front door, allowing the adults to enter the house first and take a moment to really look at where I am. The Drake's home is a lovely cottage-style 2-story house with a beautiful lush front garden, a high wooden fence, and a slate patio. It is not intimidatingly lavish like the mansion I grew up in, but it also doesn't scream of poverty and despair the way my last home did. It is beautiful, tasteful, and very, very warm and comforting in every corner and along each smooth line.
This is it. Our new beginning.
We've lost everything, and with my mother's best friend's kind offer of a home, we will gradually find our feet again in the community where my mother grew up.
Home. We haven't really had one of those in a while.
Elizabeth Drake.
They're here. They are really here.
They're in my house. We are on the upper floor, walking from room to room, and they are looking at everything I'm showing them. I should probably feed them first, but I'm just too excited to think clearly. I want to force feed them the house so they can feel at home as fast as possible.
Becca, my Bex, is in my house.
Having her here, with my darling Willow, my goddaughter, back in my life again is literally a dream come true. That constant nagging ache in my heart, longing for them, is finally getting fed. I probably seem a bit creepy to Willow, who barely remembers me because I keep touching them. They're real. I can feel the texture of their soft hair and skin under my fingers and smell the fragrance of their perfume. I just wish they were more squishy and happy, and less bony, fragile, and sad.
Yikes. I guess I really am a creep.
I don't care. I am so happy. I cannot put the joy that I'm feeling into words. If I were to try, it would all come out in one messy jumble. I can see the pain buried in their eyes and feel it radiating from their pores. It is breaking my heart. I will destroy that pain and wipe it out of existence, even if it is the last thing I ever do. Looking at Willow, my heart wants to explode. Her long, silky, golden brown hair, just this side of blonde, is woven into a complex braid snaking over her shoulder. Those large, gentle, gray eyes remind me so much of her father, while her slightly pouty lips were absolutely inherited from her mother. She has the potential to be a true beauty, but right now, she is too frail, too pale, and too tightly wound. She seems to be holding herself together by sheer willpower. One hard tug could make her fall apart. It is painful to see. I'll never allow anybody on this planet to hurt her again. Neither of them. Not ever again. Anybody who wants to hurt Becca or Willow Mayfair will have to go through me. I might not look like much. I'm round in all the motherly places after childbirth, short, and I bruise easily. But believe me, I can be fierce when I have to be. And I'm not alone. I have a formidable army on my side. Bring it on. If it takes every ounce of love and life left in my rather curvy body. I have to highlight this again because I'm rather thrilled by how I filled out in all the right places. And so is my husband. I'm going to set Becca free from the emotional prison she'd been locked in for the last 11 years. And I'll help her mend her relationship with the daughter I know she loves more than her own life. She proved that by basically giving up on having a life of her own, just so that she could keep an eye on Willow and be part of her life. As for me, my life is more than complete now that I finally have my girls fully in it again. Nothing is going to separate us again. Ever. Becca is gazing around at the decor in her bedroom. Her bedroom! Yes, Becca has a bedroom in my house. Our house. Fine. I'll admit it. I might be a little overexcited. I know it is not as luxurious as a room in her mother-in-law's mansion, but I can see from her smile that she is extremely pleased and touched. I still know her so well. We might have lived more than 2 days' drive, 2.5 hours by plane, apart, and didn't get to see each other very often, but we've kept in touch as much as we could. I still know Becca the way I know myself. For the decor, I chose soft colors and creams and blues she loves and the straightforward modern furniture she prefers. The room is filled with light and air, just to make sure she gets the message that this is her room, her home. I've stuck framed pictures of her happy memories on every possible surface. I hope that these photographs will remind her of who she really is. The more she absorbs her surroundings, the more her smile widens. But I can see something else in her hazel eyes. She is exhausted. No wonder. After 2 days of traveling in that wreck she arrived in, I'm surprised she has any energy left at all. I fold her into another warm embrace, loving her familiar fragrance. She hadn't changed her perfume in all these years. Possibly because it was the one thing she still felt she had control over. The one thing reminding her of the life she used to have and loved. Becca is a few centimeters taller than I. Most people are. And she'd grown alarmingly thin. Well, I love cooking. I'll fatten them up fast. I give them a week, and then they'll both be chubby and rosy-cheeked, healthy and happy. Welcome home, Bex, I say, laying my hand against her pale cheek. Please, make yourself comfortable while I show Willow her room, okay? Have a long bath, take a nap, and do whatever you want. I'll go grab your bag from the car so you can change if you want to. When you're ready, I'm gonna start feeding you, so rest while you can. I'll definitely take that bath. Thanks. And as far as the feeding threat goes, Challenge accepted. Thank you, Bee. Thank you so very much, she whispers in a choked voice, as if there was any doubt that I would open my home to her. This woman. Well, I'm about to cry, so I'd better. Oh crap, too late. I give up, and so does Becca, and now we're crying in each other's arms. I'm vaguely aware of Willow retreating into the hallway to give us space. Or maybe she's just embarrassed. I cannot tell for sure yet. Becca told me that Willow is extremely reserved and not used to displays of affection and emotion. Well, the girl is just gonna have to brace herself, because Ryan doesn't call me a love tornado for nothing. That is, when he's not calling me honey swirl or mischief muffin, or my favorite, sexy snuggle witch. But I'll spare Willow that info. For now.
And that was the chapter. I'll see you in the next one.
Next time on Hunting the Fairy Tale. If life came with sound effects to set the mood, the sound of grinding gears and screeching brakes would have been ear-splitting right now. Back up a step. Your son? I ask, certain that I must have heard her wrong. Isn't he only 2 years old? Aunt Beth laughs in surprise. Frankie? Yeah, he's 17 months old now. I'm talking about my eldest son, Hunter. He's finishing high school this year. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Don't forget to tune in for another chapter next week. Hello, this is Millie Radley. I'm delighted to be sharing this recording for a wonderful young adult book written by my dear friend. I hope you enjoy experiencing the story as much as I enjoyed bringing it to life.